When you use memory techniques, you create a lot of stories, but the thing is, you have to be willing to change your story creation style depending on the information. The mistake people make is thinking, hey, this one specific style I use all the time works for all information, but that's not the case. The only reason they think that is because that's the first kind of style they came up with when they had their images and created a story out of all those images. But it really depends on the information. So let's say I'm memorizing some words. Now I do 2 words per location. So buyer, possesses. So I see this person buying something and then he possesses it. He's just like holding it tight. That's it. Crazy dumb on how simple my story is. And I would apply that to all of these words. But let's say I'm trying to learn something like physics. Now I have this like definition, right, to Newton's second law, then why this law is even important. I can't apply that same story style because this is more complex. There's different parts to it. In this main idea, right, Newton's second law, you might have 3 different points to it. And then why is it important? How that connects to all the laws, stuff like that. There's all these things that go into it. So the way I create my stories now have to have a specific order maybe, or it has to lead into some other story that's in a different location. There's all these things that go on. And so where the words were like a simple story, my images and stories for Newton's second law would be more complex because it's just complex information. And so I have to change the style in the way I create my stories. And that's something you have to realize. And maybe you never thought about it, but for specific types of information, you might create different stories. And then for other types, you might need a completely new story, but you try to force the stories you know, the style that you already know on that new information. And you find like it doesn't really work. Like, man, I keep forgetting stuff when I use a story, and then images fall out, and it's never straight. It's because the story style that you're creating or that you're using in that specific moment just doesn't match up to the information. And so you always have to be aware of all these small little things because it does screw with you when you're not aware. And I want you to be aware of all these mistakes that are out there, or else I wouldn't have all these different videos explaining mistakes people make, right? And so just pay attention to how you create stories and how you try to force that on to all types of information. That's probably the default setting. You have this one style. I'm just going to do that regardless of the information. I was guilty of it too until I started actually realizing, hey, this is a little bit complex. It's a little bit different. Let me try something new, a new style. And I was amazed by the results I saw. So try it out and let me know. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.